everyone, and welcome to YarnGasm. I'm Kristen, and this is episode 155. If you are a returning viewer, thanks so much for coming back, and if you are a new viewer, thanks so much for checking out my podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning, and hand-dyeing yarn in Brooklyn. So thanks for checking me out. And I hope everyone in the U.S. had a fun and safe 4th of July weekend. As I mentioned, me and Dennis went up to Cape Cod, as we do every summer, and spent some time there with my in-laws, Dennis's parents, and we had a really fun time. It was really nice to get out of the city. I will talk more about that towards the middle and at the end of the episode in the blather section, and I might even toss in a couple of videos and photos from the weekend in case you're interested. It was really beautiful out there. We had great weather. I got a little sunburned, I don't know if you can tell, but mainly in this area, and yeah, but anyway, it was fun. We really needed a break from all the housework that we've been doing. So yeah, I hope everyone just enjoyed the time off or the long weekend if you had one. But yeah, I have a lot to talk about this week. I took a break last week. I did not podcast because it was Dennis's birthday, and I actually sat down to podcast, but I realized I wouldn't have time to edit and everything, and there was just a lot to talk about. So I said, yeah, I made an executive decision. I said, I'm taking that week off, and I'm going to podcast today. So I have a big episode for you guys. I really wanted to keep it down a little bit because I do have a lot of work to do, but I don't think it can be helped. So I am just staring at the pile of stuff that I have to show you. So you are in for a treat, my friends. So yeah, first things first, I want to mention some giveaway winners. First off, we have the winners from the Kilt Me Now Cal, which ended last week. It was part of the Outlander Knit Along that I was co-hosting with Jasmine from the Knit More Girls, Cece from the Geeky Girls Knits podcast, and Maria from the Subway Knits podcast. So I created a thread in the Ravelry group, and everyone who participated in the Instagram Knit Along just posted their finished objects in that thread, and I used a random number generator to select 2 winners. I was originally going to select just one, but because the first one was a small project, I have a smaller prize to give away. So let me get that now in my bag of tricks over here. Okay, so the first winner of the Kilt Me Now Cal is number 10, Dynamite Trujillo. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I would use a random number generator or choose the winners on the podcast, but it would just take too long, so I did it off camera. You're just gonna have to trust me. So congratulations to Dynamite Trujillo, number 10. You have won. She actually spun a mini skein, a hand spun mini skein with a Pocket Jamie present in said photo. So because it was such a small project, I will award you this lovely brooch and matching earrings. It's a little birdie from a homespun house, which Molly of a homespun house generously donated as a giveaway prize. So congrats. I have the same one. I have a cat and I have matching earrings. So broochy earring twinsies. Excellent. So contact me, Trujillo. I will try putting I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I will put the name in the down bar just so you know who you are. Just contact me with your shipping and your mailing info, and I will send this out to you. So congrats, yay! And then the main prize, the big prize, is a skein of your choosing of Voolenvine yarns, my hand-dyed yarns. So that goes to, drumroll, number 14, Courtney of Eden, who knit a Paris in Springtime stole. So congrats. Again, contact me, PM me on Ravelry, and let me know which colorway, which base you would like me to dye up for you. And I would be happy to send that out to you. So yay, congrats guys. So excited. So next up is the Hala Knits Summer 2015 collection giveaway. So if you're not familiar, Allison Dykhuizen of Hala Knits and Sweatshop of Love, every season she comes out with a collection of, excuse me, she comes out with a collection of patterns, and she approached me about yarn support, and of course I offered some hand-dyed yarn on my Smitten DK base, which is Merino Nylon Cashmere in the Beach House colorway. So that was featured in 2 patterns. I believe the Beach House top and then the, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the pattern, but it's a vest and it has like a spine. I think it's called backbone, the backbone vest. So that yarn was featured in both patterns. And as just a, you know, Allison generously donated a giveaway, 1 free digital copy of the Holland Knits Summer 2015 to one of you lovely viewers. And the winner of that one, I actually locked the thread today. I gave you guys an extra day because I totally forgot yesterday. Was number 5, Yolma, Yollma. So yay, congrats. Again, PM me on Ravelry, and I will. Oh no! I will let Allison know that you are the winner, and she will send along a digital copy to you. So yay! Congrats. Okay, so once again, thank you to everybody who participated in all the giveaways. It's always fun to see what all you are working on, and I just really enjoy seeing what you guys are working on and sharing in all those giveaway threads. It's so inspiring, and I know everyone else just loves seeing what everyone's working on, and it's just so much fun. So, but yes, there are more giveaways that I'll talk about a little bit later, so more prizes to be had if you didn't win this time around. So that was a lot of talking. As I mentioned, lots to talk about. So I'm going to move on to what's on my needles. I do not have any finished objects this week, so I'm going to move right along to what I'm knitting. And I brought a lot of stuff with me to Cape Cod. Again, whenever we go on a trip, I always overpack my knitting projects because I need variety. I definitely have knitter ADD where I just can't work on one thing over the course of 5 days because you never know how you're going to feel that day. So I packed a lot of stuff. I brought you'll see what I'm working on. But as I mentioned, I finished 1 sock of my Lanai yarns in her Across the Universe colorway. So I think I showed this to you on the last podcast. I finished this sock, which is really beautiful, ultra speckly. And I don't know if this camera is doing the color justice. It's very overcast today out, so everything's quite gray. But I did cast on the second sock, and I worked on this on the beach. I worked on this in the car to and from Cape Cod, and yeah, I'm making progress. I thought I would have a finished pair, but I don't, because as I mentioned, like I traded on and off with different projects, just based on my mood. So almost there. And yes, what else? Oh, okay. So the other thing that I have on my needle still. I was working on this before and I ran out of yarn, but this is the pattern by Maria Monska, the lovely and amazing Maria Monska of the Stitched in Sweden podcast. Her lattice shawl, which I cast on using Brooklyn Tweed Loft, which is a fingering weight, 100% American Targhee wool, I believe, which is super spongy, as I always say. It's squishy and just very, very lofty yarn, and in his postcard colorway, which is just kind of like this light heather lavender with these amazing red speckles in there. So it's just a really beautiful colorway, and I was maybe 6 rows away from the applied border, and I ran out of postcard. So I've got to order more yarn because there's only 275 yards per skein. And I knew going in that I would need another skein, but I was kind of, playing Russian roulette where I'm like, oh no, maybe I'll luck out. But no, going up a needle size, number 1, I should have known right there, all right, I'm going to need another skein, but silly Kristen. Anyway, I'm very close to finishing the lattice pattern, which is a lace. I'm already like mid-row. I'm mid-row because I ran out of yarn. But here's the lattice pattern right there. But yeah, very close to the applied border. And I'm going to actually be using a contrasting color for the applied border and using, again, Brooklyn Tweed Loft. Oops, this way. In their fossil colorway, which is a very it's like a very light oatmeal color. It's white, but has kind of like these, it's a very heathery light oatmeal shade. So that is going to be the applied border. So I am in the process of ordering more yarn, and then I can get on with that. But of course I could not go to Cape Cod without a shawl on the go. So I cast on the shawl that I've been meaning to cast on this summer, in my lovely Fluffy Fibers project bag, handmade by Isabel. I love this bag. It is so well made, so perfect, and so beautiful. I love it. Totally my colors. And appropriately, I cast on the Verdure shawl by Isabel, again, of the Fluffy Fibers podcast. So I really love the fact that I am knitting on projects that are designed and, you know, using things that are made by my podcasting friends. I think that is just so awesome. I don't know. It just makes knitting that much more special when you're knitting with things made by your friends and people that you know. So that, yeah, I get giddy about that. So, but yes, I cast on the Verdure shawl, designed by Isabel, as I mentioned, using my yarn, Voolenvine yarns on my blitzed base in the Succulents colorway. And I don't know if you can see the sparkles in there, and this is not blocked, so it looks a little wonky, but here's the lace. It's going to look so much better once it's blocked, but here are the increases, which is a new to me technique, and especially the cast on, because normally I'm used to the garter tab cast on, but she does it in a way where you do Judy's Magic cast on, and then you knit a long strip of garter, and then it kind of folds in on itself with these really interesting increases. So if you're looking to expand your technique horizons, and you know you're tired of the usual garter tab cast on and, you know, yarn over increases, definitely check this pattern out, because I was really enjoying it. It was like a breath of fresh air to me. But I am done with the body, and I am going to knit on the applied border. A lot of applied borders on my needles these days. But I was in the car on our way back from the Cape, and it got dark out, and I was not about to start lace when it was really dark. So I put it away and just kind of sat there with my hands folded. I mean, I could have knit on socks, but I don't know. I was just at the point where we're an hour away from home, and I'm just like, all right. And, you know, obviously I was talking with Dennis when I had the radio going, so it was fine. I did not mind that. But yeah, so I am really loving this pattern, and I cannot wait to knit on the border. I know it's going to be beautiful, and I think I'm going to have enough yarn. This is how much I have left in the cake, and there's a bobby pin in here, like you do. So yeah, and I'm using my, what is it, carbons, my interchangeable carbons, I believe size 6. I don't know what that is in millimeters. I forget. I always forget that. And I have one of my old stitch markers that I made. And I know some of you might find skulls creepy, but I think they're awesome. And they always make me smile, like this little guy right here. But this is a stitch marker that I made like a while back. It's green, very Halloween-y. And I just use that. And I have like a random nitpicks one right here. So yeah, I did not really pay attention to the stitch markers I was packing, so I was working with what I had. So, but amazingly, this one just so happened to match my knitting, so yay! So yeah, and the yarn, oh my gosh, it's soft. It's surprisingly soft, and you know, when you think of stellina in yarn, you think it's kind of like brittle or rough, but this is surprisingly very, very soft and squishy, and I'm really enjoying working with it, as you should, because it's my yarn. So that is one thing that's on my needles. What else did I work on? Oh, I worked on my Cozy Memories blanket. Finally picked it up. I added I added maybe 3 or 4 squares. Let me investigate. And I'm using size 4 needles to knit, what is it, a 40 square cast on where I knit 20 stitches and decrease in the middle, 20 stitches on each side and then decrease on the middle to create the square. But yeah, so let me see. Okay, so this is this is a skein of yarn that I received from Sam in a swap that we did together. She gave me this awesome skein of 3 Irish Girls in the cocoa colorway, and I love it. I want to get a skein of this for my own, for myself, because the colors are so pretty. It's like this, it has reds, it has pinks, it has grays, just a really pretty colorway. And then this is from Freakish Lemon, Adrian, who has a podcast, if you haven't checked it out. It's another podcast you might want to check out about knitting and crochet and geeky awesomeness. So we also did a swap, and this is, I believe, Regia yarn. I think it's a sport weight self-striping. I don't remember what number or colorway it was, and I'm totally blanking on what this one was and who I got it from. Sometimes it's hard to keep track, but it's a really pretty colorway, obviously. And this is a skein, another from a swap that I did and I knew what yarn it was as soon as I saw it. This is Jinx Yarns in her fairy colorway on her glitz base, which is super pretty and sparkly. So yeah, it was funny that I knew that. I'm like, I know that yarn. I knew where that came from. Oh, and this one, Roxanne in Lanai Yarns, another swap mini skein, which is a really cool color. It's like white, but then it has streaks of red, teal, and like a charcoal gray in there. So really cool. So I think I added a total of 5 squares to my blanket. I'm impressed. Sometimes I impress myself. I don't know. So yeah, and I think this is as wide as I want it to get. So it's very wide. And I have a lot of ends to weave in. So yeah, lots of stringy dings hanging down. So right now it's just all about how long I want it to be now. So that should be interesting. So yeah, I put a dent in that as well. So, okay, yeah. I think that's all I have on my needles at the moment. As for spinning, I have not done any spinning. I did a little spinning while we were in Cape Cod, but I don't think I have that with me right now. I think it's in another bag, but I did a little on, I spun a little bit on my my Turkish spindle from Subterranean Woodworks, which was really fun. I'm having a lot of fun with that, and I definitely want to get a bigger size, like a normal size Turkish spindle for myself, because right now it's the micro size. And let me get some soda, I apologize. So, but yes, I also want to announce the summer sock spackle. Many of you have been asking me about doing another spackle or de-spackle, and consensus was a sock spackle, and a lot of you are super excited about it, so which makes it even more awesome. It's great when everyone's excited, right? Yeah. So that is currently underway. As usual, in the non-chatter thread, that is the thread for all entries interested in winning a giveaway prize. 1 post per person, please. You can edit it as many times as you want, add photos, add comments to your post. But yes, at the end of the day, it'll just make it easy for me to fairly choose a winner for giveaway prizes. But if you want to chat away with everyone else, and for support or questions or just to share whatever, that's what the chatter thread is for. So it's all there in the YarnGasm Revelry thread. If you haven't joined it, please do. There's lots of conversation going on in there. It's a great place to ask me things. If you have a question or something that you want me to talk about on the podcast, it's an awesome place. Join. Yay! So, but that's underway. I have not decided whether I want to finish spinning my mulberry fibers. I have it on the wheel right now, but I don't know if I want this to be a pair of socks. I am still browsing my stash, and I have been browsing Etsy and other places for potential sock fiber. So I haven't decided yet. That could be bad, that could be, I don't know, whatever. I'm not, when I find the fiber, I will know. So yeah, but I haven't decided if I wanted to continue this in order to knit a pair of socks with it. I don't know what I want this to be. Maybe a shawl, I don't know. But yeah, it's still up in the air for myself. yeah, I haven't decided. So I will let you know when I do. But yes, that is underway right now. So if you want to join. It's going to be great. So yay. Anyway, so that is all the spinning I have. Let me see. Yeah, that is, I'm looking at my show notes. That's all I have to talk about spinning. I really have to kick my butt into gear and start spinning again because this has been going on for way too long. Anyway, all right, so treat yourself for stash enhancement. I've got so much stuff to show you. I don't know where it came from. This is ridiculous, you guys. But yeah, I've got a lot of stash to show you. Well, first of all, this is going back a couple of weeks ago, and my in-laws came to visit me and Dennis at our new house. They had made a pit stop at Webb's, the yarn store upstate from Brooklyn, the infamous one that everyone knows about. But yeah, they went to Webb's and they visited, and she came away with a rather large haul and managed to grab some yarn for me. So I've got yarn to show you. She got me these awesome skeins of Noro. I have no idea what I'm going to knit with this. Very out of my comfort zone, but it's a single ply. The World of Nature, colorway number 14, Lot A. It's their Teo Sport, which is really fun. I mean, I would never think to put those colors together, like green, yellow, navy blue, cyan, magenta. And I have 2 skeins of it. I've never knit with Noro before, and I don't know. I'm just actually really excited to knit something with this. What? I don't know. Maybe a funky shawl. Maybe some cool winter socks. I don't know. But right now, these are just really fun to look at, and I'm excited about them. And then she also got me 4, I only have 2 right now, but she got me 4 skeins of this gorgeous Cascade Yarns alpaca lace in this really beautiful heather navy blue colorway. Colorway number 1417. So really creative with the names, right? Oops, and this one's coming unraveled, unskeined. I gotta fix that. But yeah, it's super soft. I don't know what I'm going to knit with it. Obviously, maybe a shawl. My wires are hanging down. So TBD. But I really love this colorway. And it's like I have a love-hate relationship with navy blue generally. Navy and me, I don't know. But this colorway, I really love. So I'm really excited to find a project for this one as well. She recommended that I hold the yarn together for a thicker weight, but I don't know. I mean, I could knit an epic even star with this. That would be beautiful with some beads around the border. That'd be really cool. Then this is super fun. Oh, you guys, I have no idea what I'm gonna knit with this, but I'm just having so much fun looking at this again. Like, all this stuff is so out of my comfort zone, but I could just imagine how fun they would be to knit with. This is Toria or Tanya? I think it's Toria, Toria, the Cape Town collection. She got me 6 balls of these little tribbles. They look like tribbles, they really do. But it's by Plymouth Yarn. It's 80% kid mohair and 20% nylon, hand dyed. So yeah, I could mix and match, just kind of like tone it down a little bit, because I don't know if I would knit a whole sweater alone with this, but I would definitely hold it together with something or do a stripey effect with it. Or even just maybe even kind of like one of those wisp shawls. That would be really fun with this. But I have a whole bag of them, so I am set. So I can't wait to use these. Yay! Thank you, Carol. So that was one haul. And let me see. Okay, so when I went to Cape Cod, me and Dennis went to this new yarn shop that opened up called A Great Yarn. It was new to me, and I was very excited to check it out because a lot of the yarn shops that I go to in Cape Cod, they're nice, and I love knitting, Adventures in Knitting, the one that I usually go to all the time when I'm up there. But this one in particular had, as soon as I walked in, I was amazed. They had yarns that I've never even heard about. I mean, they had a few, but they did not have the usual suspects. They did not have Cascade. They did not have Malabrigo. They did not have Regia. They just had all these very, I don't know, I can't describe, just, I wouldn't say indie dyers, but they had just a lot of these, you know, local, they had local yarn. They had stuff from Maine. They had stuff from Peru. They had just all these name brands that I've never heard of. So that was really refreshing. So I came away with these two lovely skeins of Isager merino alpaca. So these are so soft. Again, they don't have, I don't think they have like a colorway name. There's no colorway name on these. It's just number, Isager alpaca 2, number 7S. I don't know. So again, people, name your yarns. Name your yarns. It makes it's just nice to name your yarns. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, it's 50% alpaca, 50% wool, and there are 250 meters per skein at 50 grams. So I think there's only like 275 ballpark yards per skein. And I was thinking about casting on my summer in Kansas shawl with this, but I did not buy enough yarn because I wasn't sure. But yeah, I am currently hosting a summer in Kansas knit along, which I keep forgetting to mention in every episode, but it is going on. This is a summer in Kansas shawl that I purchased in Cape Cod several years ago by 2 old bags. And this is only a pattern that you can only buy it in a store or mail order it. It is not available for purchase or download via Ravelry or online. So that's the one downside. But if you're up for that and you want to order it, I'm hosting this knit along. I haven't set an end date to it yet or decided on prizes because right now there's not a lot of people participating in the knit along. So this is just for fun right now, as everything is for fun. But right now I have not set an end date or anything right now. So this is probably going to go on for however long it takes you to finish it. But yeah, I think it'll be a really fun knit if you're down for it. So, but yeah, again, I have not decided if I want to use this yarn yet. I may dye my own yarn, but it's still very up in the air. But getting back to a great yarn, it's located in Chatham, Massachusetts. Chatham in Cape Cod. It's a small town, very touristy. That is where all the infamous shark sightings have happened over the past few years. If you watch the news in the U.S., I don't know, there have been a lot of shark sightings. There's always a news truck parked outside the beach because they're always, you know, blocking it off and warning people of, you know, sharks. But yeah, it is a very beautiful beach. There's a lighthouse. There have been seal sightings, and especially the day that we went, it was so foggy. The fog was so thick and heavy you could not see out into the ocean, let alone the beach, because it was just like this rolling fog, and it was just so pretty. I will again post photos at the end if you're curious. But yeah, so they opened up this new yarn shop, and again, as I mentioned, you walk in and there's all this yarn that I've never seen before or heard of. So I was really eager to look around, and the staff there was incredibly helpful, super nice. I will say they may have been a little helpful to a fault. I will only say that, you know, when I go into yarn stores, unless there's something I'm specifically looking for, I just like to browse. I find it relaxing just to browse on my own pace. If I have a question, I'll ask. And I found, you know, that the staff there were just a little, they hovered a little bit, and not that they thought I was going to steal anything, but they felt very eager to educate me about the yarn that they had and showed me everything that I was looking at. They just jumped in and started commenting on it, and I'm just kind of like, it's okay. I don't have, you know, that much time to look around. I have a little fuzz in my mouth, sorry. You know, and I was kind of dropping hints that I just kind of wanted to look around and browse, and they weren't quite getting it. But otherwise, you know, I'm sure they're a new store and they're very eager to just make sure that you're happy about shopping. And they have a bookstore that's attached. So they have a lot of knit nights, and they definitely really care about their products and the store. And I found it, I mean, when I did have that time that I was browsing, I just found it really enjoyable. So I hope that it's just that they're excited about being a new shop and excited to have customers and all that jazz. And I'm sorry, there are police sirens going on outside my window. I hope everything's okay. But anyway, but yeah, otherwise, if you're definitely in Chatham, definitely check it out. They have a lot of cool notions and tools and a lot of souvenirs that you can buy and take with you. But yeah, it's a great yarn shop, and I highly recommend you checking it out. So yeah, if I decide to knit with that, I may call them and have them ship it to me. And they do have a birthday list. If it's your birthday, I believe you get 20% off your purchase. So, that was really cool to know. And then the other thing that has enhanced my stash, Laura from Jinx Yarns, I was watching her podcast and she had an update a few weeks ago, and she had a bunch of one-of-a-kinds that she was giving, that she was selling, and she showed off one skein that I was just like, oh my gosh, this must be mine. And I bought it. So this is Jinx Yarns, worsted merino experimental dye lot number 26, which she says is very close to her fairy colorway, which was in my my Cozy Memories blanket that I knit up. And this is just way more saturated, and it's beautiful. It's even more beautiful in person than it was in the photo, but very cool. So yes, it's merino worsted, 100% superwash merino, and it's so squishy and lovely. And I don't know, she might have some still in stock, so hop on over to her shop and check it out. Because yeah, I love all of Laura's yarn. I'm hoarding and coveting like so many of her skeins. So I've definitely got my own little secret Jinx stash, which is awesome. So Laura's a very good friend of mine, so it does not hurt to stack up on that stuff. So very excited about this. I have no idea what I'm going to be knitting with it. I might covet it again for a little bit, but I could see it being a really cool pair of mittens or a cowl, because winter, it might be like 95 degrees outside Fahrenheit outside my window, but winter is coming. It is coming, and it will be cold and it will be brutal, and yarn will save the day. So yay. I think that is it for stash. I hope that's it. I hope I didn't do any more damage because that'd be really concerning. But yes, I do have sewing to talk about. If you haven't noticed already, I am wearing my latest creation. And this is the, I have to get the packet. I have a sewing bucket now. This is my sewing bucket. I keep all my patterns and stuff in it. Thankfully, it's not huge yet. I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyway, here we go. This is a pattern from Simplicity, and I sewed this one it just has 2 straps and an A-line skirt at the bottom. So really fun, really easy to sew. I'm super proud of myself. I wouldn't say it was super easy. It was definitely like intermediate. And I want to knit all my dresses in this pattern because it fits so well. It looks so great on me. It's exactly what I was looking for shopping, and I could not find it. Or if I could find it, it wasn't long enough, or it was too, I don't know. But I'm so happy that I have a pattern that I can sew up and it fits me well. And I would stand up, but I have my microphone here. So I will post a photo. I got a photo that Dennis took of me in Cape Cod wearing the dress. So I will post it here so you guys can see the full thing. I mean, there are a multitude of sins, again, that I'm kind of hiding in certain areas, stitch faux pas, I'm sure. But I'm going to be sewing another one of these up. I ordered fabric, which came, and I'll show you in a second. But I would definitely... If you're looking for a cute, simple dress to sew up, it's New Look 6457, and you can find it on the Simplicity website, which I'll post a link to in the show notes. So yay, that was awesome. So yeah, there's that. And I want to say, first of all, thank you to everybody who responded to me about how to preserve patterns, sewing patterns. Some of you highly recommended getting freezer paper, which I have to order, or using butcher paper, or just using fusible interface to fuse to the pattern itself. Lots of great ideas. I actually spotted some butcher paper type stuff at my local craft, there's a 99-cent store right around the corner from me, like steps away from our house. So they happen to have this stuff in stock. It is 30 square feet of craft paper without design, $1. You can't go wrong. I stocked up on these. I bought 3 rolls, so 30 square feet per roll. So I think I'm going to be using this to trace out the patterns that I have, and using this to preserve it for now, until I can get my hands on some freezer paper. But I am super excited I was able to find this at such a low price too, and I think it's local, distributed by Home Bay Trading Corporation, Brooklyn. It's local. Bonus points, right? Okay. So, but I do want to show you the fabric that I got for to sew the next version of this dress, and I haven't decided which one I want to use. I think I want to use this one, which I am so in love with. And Molly of A Homespun House has informed me that in German these are called Pusteblumen, which are those little fluffy dandelions. You know, the ones that you pick and you blow, and they have like little fluffy things that just kind of float through the air. So that's what these are. So Pusteblumen, which is a new word that I am so in love with. I will say there are words that I really, really like. Like jambalaya is a really fun word to say, and now Pusteblumen is a really fun word to say that I love. So, little fun fact about me, guys. There are words that I just really enjoy saying. So I cannot wait to knit. I can't wait to sew up another version of this dress. And the first time I got wind of this dress was, I remember Isabel of a Fluffy Fibers podcast posted a photo of her and her daughter. Isabel was wearing a dress very similar to this one, and I was like, that is so cool. That's exactly what I was looking for. And she generously pointed me in the right direction, told me which pattern. And I don't think this was the exact same one, but very similar. But anyway, thank you, Isabel. I am in love with the pattern, and I want to sew 5 more. Case in point. So yes, this I think will be the next dress. And then I saw this one, and it immediately reminded me of, if this is very hyper local, so if you don't live in New York, but you may have heard of it, the Metropolitan Museum, going back maybe in winter or fall, late fall, early winter, they had an exhibit called Death Becomes Her, and I fell in love with this one dress there, and I was like, that is going to be my next Halloween costume. And then I saw, it was just kind of like this off the shoulder, kind of fit bodice, and then flounced out. It was pinstripe, and then she had these like hand knit lace wrist warmers, and it was just totally stunning. But yes, the exhibit was called Death Becomes Her, and they showed mourning costumes. It was like stepping through back in time, like early 1800s, or just all these Victorian mourning dresses. I mean, very, very goth, very creepy, very somber, but I love that stuff. So it totally resonated with me. And I saw this one fabric, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to be sewing a Halloween costume out of it, or a morning dress. Obviously, that would be very morbid, but something similar, just in this, a little more upbeat. But I saw this, and it's very pinstripey, like a wavy pinstripe, and obviously very goth. And I just fell in love with it. And of course, this is something else that I wanted to talk to you about. I don't know if I'm going to be sewing the same style dress, but then Jasmine of the Knitmore Girls, before she even reviewed it, she sent me, she pinged me, and she's like, you are going to love the next review we do on our podcast. And I listened to the podcast and immediately looked it up, because they reviewed this sewing book called So Many Dresses, So Little Time. And as soon as I saw it, I hopped on Amazon and ordered it. And this is the dress. This and this is so happening. So, and it has like that same kind of like off the shoulder type detail going on. So I can be like Victorian goth without being creepy. So yeah, and maybe for Halloween I will kind of tailor this to look like that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. And you guys, I never want to buy another dress that I haven't made again. I want to sew all the things, which is crazy. But I haven't really had time to really browse this book. But I mean, I've flipped through it and read a few little blips. And oh my gosh, you guys, if you are new to sewing or interested in sewing, this is definitely worth having in your library. They go through all the details. They explain everything in utter layman's terms. They break everything down. So things that I didn't even know, even after I was done sewing my first dress, I was like, oh, that is how you install a lining. That is what a muslin is. Or, you know, that is what a stay stitch is. They just break everything down so neatly. And the photographs are beautiful. And they have, you know, they break down all the patterns for you and explain everything and how you can make 200 dresses out of this book just by mixing and matching all the, you know, guides that they give you. And just a lot of beautiful, beautiful patterns in here that I could totally see myself sewing up. And of course, in the back, they have an envelope of patterns that you can use for your own purposes. So very, very awesome. This is a really beautiful dress. Again, it's halter. I don't know how well I do with that, but it's stunning. So I'm definitely going to be making a lot of dresses in this, especially this one. I love, 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 love this dress right here. That's going to be really fun to make. So thank you, Jasmine, for reviewing this, because this is definitely great. So for example, with this dress, I could have definitely done, because I have a long torso, I could have done with the waistline being just a smidge lower, and the book definitely shows you how to alter the pattern so it is, how to tailor it to your size and your measurements, which is invaluable. So I definitely recommend you checking that out if you're interested in, you know, diving into sewing. So yeah, other than that, I think that is pretty much it for what I'm working on. It's a lot, as I mentioned. And so I'm going to move on to Ask Away, because we have a couple of questions building up in that thread. It's a thread in the YarnGasm Ravelry group where if you have any questions about anything you want me to answer on the podcast, that's the thread to go to ask it. So there's a lot of questions building up in there. So I will answer Gabby on Ravelry, who asks, wondering how, now that you have started sewing, will you be making signature Voolenvine yarns knitting bags to add to your shop? I don't think so. Not in the immediate future. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I'm just kind of dipping my toes into the sewing pool right now. So I do not see that in my near future, but I'm not knocking it. So maybe later down the line, but I don't think immediately. It would be fun to. It would be really fun to add project bags to my shop. I will say that, but not now. Not now. In time. So okay. Next, Devi0894 on Ravelry asks, what do you wash your yarns with after you dye them? I recently ordered something and it doesn't smell like just wool to me, but I can't place it. Okay, so when I dye my wool, I rinse it to get all the excess dye out, and I use Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day dish soap, dish detergent, which is super gentle, all natural ingredients, and it's lavender scented. So that might be the after smell that you smell in there, and I hope you guys like that. I find it very pleasant smelling. I would like to find a equally gentle detergent that is possibly scentless. So again, I would love feedback. Definitely let me know what you think of the smell. If you find it repulsive, I hope not, or just you could do without it. Let me know, and I will see what I can do, because I know some of you are very sensitive to scents, and I don't find it overpowering, but I find it very subtle and light. But again, if there are some of you out there who just don't care for it, let me know, and I'll see if I can find something that is scentless, because I think that would be ideal for everybody. But yes, that's what I use. Let me see. Okay, so that is it for, because this is already a long episode, I'm just going to answer those 2 questions. But I am going to move on to shop update, Kristen's makeup bag, and blather. So Kristen's makeup bag is the new segment that you've all been asking me for, to talk about makeup and everything. So that's coming after shop update. But if you're not interested in all of that stuff, I thank you so much for joining me this week, and I will see you next time. Happy knitting. But if not, I'm going to mention a quick shop update. I'm not doing a shop update this Friday. I am, because of the holiday weekend. We just got back on Wednesday, so there's not enough hours in the day for me to die and get a whole shop update ready. So I'm pushing it to Monday. I don't know what day that is, but I will post it in the show notes or in the down bar. It will be next Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as usual. So definitely check that out. There'll be some new colorways in there. And yeah, so yeah, that is it for shop update. I was going to talk about it last week, but it didn't happen. Okay, so I'm going to move on to Kristen's makeup bag, because I do have a couple of questions in there. So Kim W on Ravelry asks, your skin is flawless, so I'd love to hear about your skincare. Okay, first, thank you, but my skin is far from flawless. The camera can do some wonderful things. Granted, it may add 10 pounds, but it also can do some nice things for you too. But yes, I'll talk about it in a little bit, but my skin is no. Fleavy, Fleavy on Ravelry asks, slightly related to the post above, I've found that whenever I wear makeup multiple days in a row, my skin tends to break out no matter how well I wash it at the end of the day. Do you use a makeup remover in addition to your skin cleanser? If so, which one? Okay, so first I want to just put a little disclaimer out there. Everyone's skin is different. No skin is made the same. So what may work for you may not work for somebody else. What works for me may not work for you. I would definitely consult you. The best way to find out what works for you at the end of the day is consult your dermatologist. They will have an idea of what you need to be using on your skin for the best results. And any product that I mention here is, I'm not endorsed in any way. They work for me and I love them, so I'm mentioning them, but I'm not getting paid to mention them. So I just want to put that out there. So rule number 1, my golden rule for my regimen is wash your face first thing in the morning and wash it right before you go to bed. Always, always, always wash your makeup off. Never fall asleep with it, because that's when pimples happen. I don't use a makeup remover. I use Oil of Olay Age Renewal, and I use that because it has lactic acid in it. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I will post it down bar. But yes, I find, because I have combination skin, I find that it kind of, regulates, or it just kind of evens my skin out, or it balances everything out. So rarely I find lately that I have an outbreak of anything, unless I'm under stress or it's super hot out and I'm sweating. I rarely have get a zit or anything, but when I do, I get them. But yeah, I use that, and I always use a moisturizer. I never leave the house without some kind of moisturizer, mainly, again, Oil of Olay with SPF 15 in it. I know they have different brands, like for sensitive skin or oily skin, combination skin, so they definitely have a great line. I've been using them for years, so I just really, I don't know, I find it works for me. It may not work for you. But yeah, that is the key ingredient that I use. Like anything with lactic acid, and I exfoliate. You don't have to do it every day, but I do it. I try to exfoliate using like an apricot scrub. I know St. Ives makes one. So yeah, I try to exfoliate at least every other day, get all the dead skin off. But yeah, I would definitely say make sure you get your makeup off before you go to bed. Moisturize, and exfoliate every once in a while. occasionally treat yourself to a mask, a detoxifying mask. And I believe the number one thing is drink lots and lots and lots of water, which is something that I do not do enough of. I really need to get on that bandwagon and make sure I get my 8 glasses in, and I definitely don't. So that's kind of on my goal list for this summer. Drink more water, Kristen. But I would say that's it. If you are at a lot, like if you are on vacation and you forgot your facial cleanser, or you just couldn't pack it, because I know flying can be a little troublesome with specific cleansers and bottles and what have you. I always pack those facial wipes. You can find ones with different types of, you can find different types, one for acne, one for, that's specifically designed for your skin, your type of skin. So I always pack those with me when I travel, and it makes, taking makeup off super easy and quick. I will say though, this past weekend, I slathered on the SPF 100 because I don't know if you've noticed, I'm very pasty and I like being pasty, and like that golf vampire type respect. So I really just don't enjoy tanning. I don't like getting a suntan, because number one, tanning will age you. That will cause wrinkles. So I always put on the highest SPF that I can. Granted, the sun was super strong and I ended up getting sunburned anyway. Thankfully, not so much on my face, but this area right here, that got a little burnt. But yeah, I actually ended up breaking out on my forehead, because apparently my skin is super sensitive to the oil-free sunblock that I got. I think this happens all the time when I use sunblock, but yeah, and I feel like I'm going on for way too long about this, but that's my general advice for my skincare regimen. So I think the main takeaway here is wash your face twice, don't sleep with your makeup on, moisturize with an SPF, and stay out of the sun, and drink lots of water. And when you're traveling, bring those handy wipes. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers your questions, and I guess I'm just super excited that you guys are interested in hearing what I have to say about makeup. So without further ado, I think I'm going to move on to blather. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about Cape Cod in general, and what we were up to. And so yeah, we left. What was it? Saturday. The 2nd was Dennis's birthday, and then on the 3rd, I believe that was Friday, we took off. We went to Dennis's cousin's place. They had a party, which was on the way to Cape Cod, so we stopped by there first, crashed there for the night. We had a really nice time. They have 2 new puppies. I don't know if you saw the photo on Instagram, but they just adopted 2 really awesome little terriers, and they couldn't have been cuter. So that was really fun. And then the next day we headed up to Cape Cod. And yeah, we had a really nice 4th of July weekend. We made s'mores over a fire pit. Dennis's parents got a fire pit. They say hi, by the way, and I swear I did not put them up to this. But anyway, they got a fire pit, so we made s'mores. They made lobster dinner for us the night we showed up, and what else did we do? The next night, me and Dennis, we went to the beach. We went out to lunch after then, and then me and Dennis went out on our own. We stopped by the Christmas tree shop, which is an awesome shop. By the way, they have every little kind of knickknack and necessity that you can think of. I love, 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 love the Christmas tree shop. It's just so full of kitsch and awesomeness. And then Dennis's parents took off the day before we were supposed to leave, so we had the house to ourselves for like a half a day the day they left, and then the half a day the day we were leaving. So we had some, little quiet time. And then the water, I would say, it was really nice, like sitting on the beach for a half hour. It got really hot, but I will say the beaches at Cape Cod, they don't get, the water stays very cold. Which is unfortunate because I don't get to go in the water when it's that cold. I don't have a tolerance for that. I need the water to be kind of warm, like even though it's scalding hot out, for me to get full on into the water, it has to be about like 70 degrees. Otherwise, I will not touch it. I'm crazy like that. But thankfully, after the beach, we headed over there's a pond near the house, so I was able to go in there because the water was very nice and calm and very warm, and yeah, so that was really nice. But yeah, we had a really, it was really nice to get out of the city, get away from all this work that we've been doing around the house. And yeah, we're supposed to go up next month too for a whole week, which will be really, really, really nice again. So, yay! So, all right, I think that is it for this week. So, thank you so much for joining me again. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend ahead of you. Happy knitting, and I will see you next time. Bye.